show on West Nile Television. My name is Federick Dramadri. We're back with the Kokoliriko show that runs from Monday to Friday. We are just 9 minutes past 7 a.m. and we'll be taking you up to the hour of 9 a.m. And we are discussing a lot of issues that are happening in the region, but also moving away from Uganda and looking at what is actually happening across the globe. Remember, there's a lot that is actually taking place, and especially focusing on the issues at hand. For you who are watching us and now, we say thank you for joining us, and also we say that we should be able to wake up right now and also go to our various duty stations. Remember, we are left with a few days actually to close the month, and we are 19 days after December. Remember that within the remaining 11 or 12 days, we'll be actually moving forward to looking at what we have been able to do, and also what can be done after this year. What is it that you have in your plan that you want to execute, what that you want to really achieve in your remaining days? It's very, very important for you to do that as you actually progress with evaluating yourself and also doing what you could show live. And you can also participate in the show by actually sending us your comments or suggestions, opinions. All of them, we value them. We'll be actually projecting them live here, and also make sure that whatever we discuss here, we do it together with you, so that you also be part of the journey in transforming lives and also the society generally. And that is how we do it here. But also those of you who are watching us from Arua City, from within Arua City, we say thank you very, very much that you have been able to be part of this show. Remember, there's a lot that is actually happening that we'll be actually discussing with you here, and also those of you who are watching us in Arua District, Terego, Madiokolo, and those from Maracha District. Not forgetting those in Koboko, Jumbe, Moyo, Obongia, Juman, and also those are from Pakwach, Nebi, and those are from Paida Town Council, and also Zombo District at large. We say thank you for being part of this show. I'll be moving with this up to the hour of 9 a.m. But also, not forgetting those from Lango and the Cholshab regions, we say thank you for being part of the show. And those from Eastern and also Western, including those in Central regions, we say thank you very, very, very much. And also, I hope that all that we are doing is geared towards achieving the brighter future. Remember, there are so many issues that are actually happening. The issues of burglary and also theft is so alarming right now. If you look at people who are keeping the animals, they are actually raising a lot of complaints. And also the issues of disease outbreaks is also there. That's one thing we should be able to talk about. Remember, the issue of anthrax outbreak in Masaka is also one thing that is actually moving forward. And remember, the nation is actually discussing so much into these zoonotic diseases, what should be done, and also experts are actually advising that once an animal is sick and has died, nobody should be able to consume the carcass or the meat that is got from that dead animal. But also not forgetting that once you see a sick animal, especially our brothers who are the Muslims, please don't run with the knife to slaughter this animal. Instead of really taking maybe going to the veterinary doctors to treat this animal. We have seen so many of you just like you don't want to miss that will be moving to or discuss a little about that. But remember the issues of action. I mean, bush burning is really escalating in Madios, in Ogoko, Rhino Camp, and also Power Shabu counties, where really the cases are really so alarming that trees are being burned down. Okay, those trees, grasses, and also many other really natural forests are being burned down by really citizens who are yet to be identified. Remember, this is something that comes annually during when there is a start of dry season. You see always these kind of things happen in Madiokolo and neighboring districts, including Zombo, Terego, and also not forgetting Yumbe, where we have a lot of grasses and so on. You see people burning most times these grasses down. So which is actually very, very bad thing that we should be able to see as really concerned persons. It's very, very dangerous, and that's what we'll be actually coming to. And also, and not forgetting other stories, remember the former LRA, that is Lord's Resistance Army commander, has been charged on 78 counts. That is International Criminal Crime Division. Uganda here has actually charged their commander, the former commander of LRA, on 78 counts. And that's one thing that is actually happening now. And this was actually done yesterday in Gulu. We'll be actually getting more details and also understand what this means, but also looking at the victims and who, including also the survivors from that war, what is currently happening, and also the impact of the war on human health. Okay, it's one thing that is actually being really tried there. We'll be talking about that, and also in the subsequent hours we'll be having a talk show that will be brought to you by Rete Uganda, and also in partnership with West Nile Television. Remember, they have been doing a lot of support to the vulnerable persons. We'll be having them here for quite maybe like about 30 minutes, and also discussing a few things with them on what they have been able to do, and also what will be done later on. But also in this, in the tail end of the show, we'll be having other discussions with a panel of journalists, and also trying to understand what is actually going around the globe, and also what the country looks like in the eyes of a journalist. And that is what we have here in these segments that we'll be having. And we appreciate you that than expected. I mean, people who have lived their lives and they feel like they are tired of being on this earth. Have you ever come across such a passion? And also, what is your experiment or another expectation, or what have you been able to observe with such passions? There are moments when once you are a young person, you have not been able to invest or being able to really save for the future. You realize that a lot of challenges come in, and many people fail to actually get to what they could be able to do to their best. Many people tend to run away from tree planting. They feel like planting trees is actually one thing that is very, very dangerous to them. For instance, those of you who actually deal so much into crop production, they feel like, no, if I don't plant crops and I venture so much into maybe tree planting, I may not be able to get food. That's the problem many people have in their minds. But remember, there's a lot that is going on. There are people who did not invest in their early ages, but now they are crying because the children are not supporting them. They are not giving them those monthly airtime, those monthly maybe allowances to keep their life stronger and moving. It becomes now difficult for them to live longer. Now they begin to curse themselves and even blame God for why they are still living, and yet they would have done a lot. So it's a lesson that every one of us should be able to learn. Especially when we're still active, doing some work and so on, we should be able to actually invest in ourselves, invest into what we can be doing that will be able to maybe give us feedback, give us returns in our old age. Okay, even if you may not really reach the old age, but in the near future you should be able to really appreciate that before, even not working for someone, you'll be able to really get food. Not even if there's no salary, you'll be able to get food, you'll be able to eat fruits around you, and also you'll be able to actually do a lot of things for yourself. That is one thing we should be able to appreciate, and also understand that people are able to work harder than really what they are doing currently. It's very important that once you do that, you will actually be able to have a brighter future, because these children you have may be able to support you, or they may not support you. So it should be upon you to actually invest for your future right now. But also we should be able to take agriculture seriously, just like what our president is actually preaching. Remember, the president of the Republic of Uganda has been talking about the issues of mechanizing agriculture. So how do we do this? We need to change the land tenure system that we have, so that access to the land is easier. Okay, access to the land in terms of the road connectivity, in terms of also using these machines to mechanize, the machines that have been donated, especially the tractors to till the land and so on, needs a large chunk of land to be tilled. So if you don't have already at least a large chunk of land, like maybe 1 acre like that, it will be difficult for the tractor to actually come to your land to start tilling, because you have a very small piece of land where your neighbors are not able to give the way for the tractors to access to your land. So it becomes difficult actually for them to actually engage into doing activities on your land, and that means it retards your energy to do a lot of plowing and also venture into promoting commercial agriculture, which is one thing that we may not really be able to prosper. So we should change the attitude from the rudimentary way of doing things to the modern ways, and this can easily be done when we collaborate with each other and also be able to understand that we need to actually prosper. We need to advance our little works we do, and also whatever we want to achieve. We should be able to have a goal to achieve, other than really waiting for what is actually happening for us to move further with these kind of interventions that we have. Remember, the issues of theft and burglary is on rise. So many people's doors have been banged at night. So many people's doors have been broken into, and many people have lost their property. Remember, there are people who are always targeting these kind of festive seasons. Beware that any time this might come in your doorway or might come at your place. So make sure that you reach home very early, you are able to time yourself, and also watch who is actually coming to you, and in what ways is this person accessing you, and also what is the intention of such a person. That should be in your mind, because every friend of yours is not a friend. Okay, every good friend is not the friend you may need to live with. So at this time, we should be able to calculate our moves, at what time you should be able to reach home, what you should be able to do, and also how you should be able to really do with whatever you have planned to do. It's very, very important that we should be able to actually be the security, the agenda that was fronted by the government about neighborhood watch is one thing that should be working. But we have seen neighbors who are not good neighbors. Many people are not really looking at other people who are prospering in good eyes. I mean, people who are always jealous about something achieved by the colleague or the neighbor. Makes them actually feel bad to be your neighbors, to work with you and so on. It's one thing I fail to understand sometimes. How do you protect your neighbor in times of danger, in times of needy, in times of celebrations even? When you are, maybe a neighbor is celebrating a birthday, you see other neighbors talking ill of that. They don't want to actually associate with such persons. They feel like you are praising yourself, you are telling them that you have things, are you the only one? You see all those kind of words coming. So it's not good to live in a society where there is no integration, where people are running away from civilization. So you become like a primitive society where people don't want to learn from each other. People don't want to share. People don't want to actually understand what others are doing. But when you are called to actually talk about a neighbor, how would you give a message about a neighbor who has been there for you, who has been there with you for quite a long period of time? It's very important, and also to look at those kind of things. Today, it might be me as your neighbor, but also tomorrow it will be you. So how do we correlate? How do we actually coordinate these kind of things? Sometimes it's a neighbor who is actually stealing you. That is one thing we should be able to understand. Understand your neighbor to the detail. Understand they are on the road. They want to talk on phone as you are passing. Somebody will just come from your behind and snatch this phone and drives away with the motorcycle. So how will you be able to be helped in that scenario? So these are things we should be able to learn. There are other tricks that we have seen. The Kungulu guys are already out. They make fake monies and they throw in front of you and tell you that let's go and sell this money. And that's when they started the actual planning you some time back, knowing that you are carrying maybe something that they're interested in, and you may accept this. And that's where they will be able to snatch your things and even beat you to death. That is something that is actually happening now. And other tricks that these people are deploying include they send a girl to you and tell you that as if I knew you somewhere, and so on. The girl takes you to another corridor and starts talking to you that, hey, where are you coming from? As if you are one of my hobbies, and those kind of styles. And once they see you conversing with that girl for quite a longer period of time, you see these gangs coming around and they surround you and they beat you up. And sometimes they move away with all that you have in your pocket and so on. So we should be able to look at these different ways in which the people who are so bringing a lot of insecurity in the town are using so much. And we should be able to understand those kind of things. Thirdly, there's another trick that somebody will come to your stage, especially for the border. They move with red papers in the pocket, and once they reach somewhere, they bring it and they spray it in your eyes, or they even put that towel in the red paper and try your face with it. So it becomes difficult for you to see what is happening, who is doing what, because you be there maybe trying to rescue your eyes from getting blind as tears roll and so on. Somebody moves away with your motorcycle, and this is one thing that is happening now. And there's this group that is also moving with chloroform. We've seen so many people who say doors have been broken into, and also their things looted from the house when this chloroform is sprayed on them, and they slip over. And that is one thing that is actually happening currently. And these are different style strategies that the thugs and also the criminals are using currently. We'll be bringing more of this when we'll have the police on Thursday or Friday here, when we'll be actually talking about some of those insecurities. Those are some of the tricks they are using. So if you are out there, please make sure that you use the different ways to rescue yourself, and also make sure that you move on very well in terms of actually making sure that you are successful. You are not conned, you are not robbed, you are not actually stolen. Those are things we should be able to take seriously when we are actually trading or moving on these streets of Arua City, and also many urban centers that we have in this country. Thank you very much. I'll be taking a break from here and come back later on shortly after this break. Thank you.
West Nile TV, lighting up the region.
Serve your family the bigger feast this Christmas with StarTimes Upgrade to Kongere promotion. Nova customers on satellite decoder simply pay 20,000 shillings special bouquet monthly subscription to enjoy smart bouquet for free. Enjoy variety of entertainment including Hello Mr. Right on Makula Chika, Kazanya Kukazanyo on Makula, animations and cartoons on Boing, series on TLC and Star Life. So make this the unforgettable holiday. More content, happier family. Sub your family the bigger feast this Christmas with Star Times upgrade to Kongere promotion. Nova customers on antenna decoder simply pay 16,000 shillings copper bouquet monthly subscription to enjoy basic bouquet for free. Enjoy variety of entertainment including Hello Mr. Right on Makula Chika, Kazanya Kukazanyo on Makula, animations and cartoons on Boing, series on TLC and Star Life. Even better, we have added all your favorite local channels. So make this the unforgettable holiday. More content, happier family.
West Nile TV, lighting up the region. West Nile TV, lighting up the region.
Sub your family the bigger feast this Christmas with Star Times upgrade to Kongere promotion. Nova customers on satellite simply pay 20,000 shillings special bouquet monthly subscription to enjoy smart bouquet for free. Enjoy variety of entertainment including Hello Mr. Right on Makula Chika, Kazanya Kukazanyo on Makula, animations and cartoons on Boing, series on TLC and Star Life. So make this the unforgettable holiday. More content, happier family.
West Nile TV, lighting up the region.
Welcome the New Year and also the Christmas that we're talking about. I remember earlier I told you that there are so many people who have become victims of circumstances ranging from the burglary, the thefts, and so on. So many things that are happening. Remember the issues of GBV are also really escalating themselves. Okay, and that's one thing that we are seeing. This is coming because of financial constraints that so many people have, but also how about the vulnerable persons that we have? Not forgetting the youths, the women, and also the persons with disabilities. And also many times when people talk about these vulnerable persons, they leave out one section, that is the elderly. Many people keep quiet about them, but also want to bring to your attention about something to do with the elderly persons that we have in Uganda, across the world, and also specifically Western region. What is happening and also what is actually happening on ground, looking at their livelihood and so on, many other things. But I've been joined by guests from Rete Uganda, and also be doing this with them in terms of the forthcoming activity that the organization will be doing in partnership with West Nile Television. Remember, last year it was done, and this year it will be done in the Greater Arusha region. And this is one way of actually making sure or encouraging the people who are said to be the elderly for hoping for more life. That's what we'll be talking about. But I have two guests, one from the left and also one from the right. Let's introduce ourselves from the left. Let me start from you.
Well, thank you so much, the host, and thank you so much, listeners. My name is Abema Swabere. I am the team leader for Rescue Team Uganda. I'm glad to be here.
Right, that is Abima. I will be getting to you there later on, but also let me have the one from my left introduce himself. Yes.
Yeah, thank you so much, moderator, and good morning, viewers. By name, I'm Hofin Keponga. I am the programs manager at Rete Uganda. Thank you.
Okay, much as I may not pronounce the name very well, it's something that comes just like that. But we'll be doing this together and understanding what they will be doing on Friday, but also when since they did this same campaign last year, what it focused on, and also what were the good points they were able to pick is what we'll be having there. Let me start it with the programs manager, Rete, and also understand what Rete actually is all about. Let's start it from there, and also before we go to any other thing, let's start from you.
Yeah, thank you once again, moderator and the viewers. Is an acronym for an organization called Rescue Team Uganda. So RETE is a youth and community local NGO in Uganda. We have existed for 5 years now. We are compliant. We are trying to fulfill our mandates. So RETE as an organization works with the children, women, youths, people with disabilities, and the older person, the category we're talking about.
Yes.
RETE does livelihood. RETE does community health and social justice. RETE does climate justice. RETE involves themselves into innovation and creativity. So RETE use a people-centered approach, where with the community we identify problems, explore problems, and come up with the resource mobilization, then participatorily intervene or solve the problem. So basically that is what RETE does. RETE is in Arua, we are in Zumbu, we are in Mariokolo, we are in Pakwat district as per now, legally. But to the public, from next year, RETE will be all over Uganda in quest of seeing how we can help the community out. Thank you.
Okay, what are those issues they were able to do in your campaigns? Because when you talk about livelihood, there are so many minds that think about maybe food, think about maybe clothes, think about many other things that we may talk about. Maybe let's come to you and also understand what you have been able to do in the campaign, and also what were the achievements or really greater milestones that you were able to recognize in this that has made you to also roll this campaign to Arusha region.
Well, thank you so much once again. Rete is very unique in their ways of doing things. One, when we started, we realized that doing things locally is the way to go. Many a times you find we rely on donor. Sometimes these donors come with their restriction, they come with their conditions, sometimes they delay with their donation. So we said, yeah, I think this is a very good thing. So for us to keep pushing, I think we need to go local. That's what people call localization. So we said, this is our problem. This is our own people. Within us, we have got potential. Why don't we come together as a family of the local people, the local community, to ask, like I stated, what is our problem? What do we think is bringing it? What can we do together? So we realize that we have got resources within ourselves in terms of knowledge, we have got resources in terms of the expertise, we have got resources in terms of material things, and these are some of the things we need. So we launched a campaign called Give for Charity, where we are trying to look at the poorest poor, the needy of the neediest, people who really don't have, but we can be of help. So we are looking for in-kind donation, we are looking for money, we are looking for expertise. So Uganda National NGO Forum also came in to support that, yes, this is the way to go, so let's do it. So we are training what is called local fundraising, where we are rolling this thing out to people, to train people on how to do local fundraising. And in this, we are trying to preach the gospel of giving, that be the sunshine in the darkest period for that person. So last year, like you stated, we did it. We did it with the West Nile TV. We appreciate West Nile TV. We were able to give during festive material things like clothes, food items. We were able to create awareness. We were able to create hope to those who really lost hope. So we said it is a very good thing. We should not leave it. So this year again, we are bringing it on board to see how we can do the same thing where we give food items to people. So for this year, we said last year we did in Arua. We are rolling out to Zombo Town Council, where we are going to give our food items, clothes, we are going to create awareness, and then amplify the campaign that members of the public, let's come together and contribute towards supporting the older person, because in our say we say, we are who we are as young people because they were there for us. So let's stand for them. Thank you.
Okay, let me come to my left and understand what is actually happening. How were people able to derive this idea? Because for people to give in charity is not an easy thing. Just you give at your will, that will not have any immediate return, is something that Africans do not actually believe so much into. How were you able to actually convince people to buy the idea of actually giving to help those in need? Yes.
Well, thank you so much, moderator. One thing I can say is people are really ready to help the needy. But then there are times where they will ask themselves, whom do I give it to? That element of whom do I trust comes in a lot. But as an organization, we have done that for the past, I can say 1 year, to reach to the communities. I can tell you when we launched this, we received a lot of applause, a lot of thanks, a lot of support from the communities. They gave us clothes, they gave us so many things that we were able to give to the communities, to the groups. We now have groups that we rely on. We have 3 groups in Zombo, and then we have 4 in Arua City. That is the bigger picture we have. But again, I can tell you, we still need a lot to help our vulnerable groups the way my programs manager said, and that is something we are starting gradually. Now when we enroll it, and this week on Friday we shall be going to Zombo, I ask all the listeners from Zombo, all the members in Zombo, let's come in big numbers, let's embrace, let's help our communities, let's help the elderly. And that is the way we shall be showing our relevance to the community. But that is something I can give, it has a lot of gap that we need to fill.
Okay. All right, still with you, I want to understand one thing. Why did you people choose to maybe look at the elderly? Because we believe government is also giving them SAGE, and there are people who are already enrolled on the monthly monies that come from government. So why did you choose to give to maybe the older persons other than the young people, or maybe
groups that we actually deal with? That is number one. Number two, the civil society organization will supplement the work of the government. Look at that SAGE money. How is that money? How much is it?
25.
25. So you ask yourself, how long will these elderly people wait to get 25,000? So it is now our responsibility as civil society organization, as other partners, to come in and supplement the work of the government. So in this case, we're trying to come up with different avenues, different aspects on how we can help these elderly people. Sometimes we give them clothing, some of them they're even into groups. So how do they now empower them to prosper and sustain those groups? Those are the things that we're looking at. But in other words, what government does, we're just supplementing with that. It is a good thing to help the community as well.
Okay, on the mobilization strategy, I think if you could just tap into that immediately. How do you mobilize for this that we wanted to help? Because many times there are issues about accountability. When we give at will, we should be able to see the impact so that we give next time. That's what many people always ask themselves about. Maybe how do you count to your people who have been able to sacrifice, to give, to entrust your organization to be able to reach those persons, vulnerable persons?
Well, the issue of accountability is very key because that is where we're going. But one thing for sure is that with the different local government units, especially the districts, we share our reports.
Yeah.
And then coming the radio station to talk about what we have done, that is also accountability.
Yes.
But again now, if you go to our groups, they will testify that yes, the rescue team Uganda did a lot to help them. We have ICT in Ondoparaka, we have orphans women also in Adalafu. Those are the people that can easily say that the rescue team has equally helped us a lot. And when we come open in the media, sometimes we post these things.
All audited books for filing, but also coming publicly to tell people that your resources have been actually effectively utilized and this is how we used them is very, very important. Let me come back to the programs manager and understand what is going to take place on Friday. Let's move to that and also we'll be able to ram into issues that will be coming. Please.
Yeah, thank you, members. On Friday, we are going to have this, what we call distribution of our resources. Now, this is the locally raised off and raised resources. We are going to have clothing, we are going to have food items, like I said, we are going to have awareness creation. It will be in Zombo Town Council. We shall invite the media people like you to come and witness, like you say, that's also one way of witnessing. We publicize, we tell the public that there's something going on. We are going to talk with our older persons. We are also going to invite people, we are going to make appeal, because this thing we do, we call it, there is something called Restitute Fund. Restitute Fund is the platform, is a pool where we locally mobilize the resources to help the people who are in need. So we are going to make appeal to people, we are going to bring keynote speaker to speak to us. Basically, that is what we are going to do to create the occasion, to tell people that during festival, especially when coming towards Christmas, Restitute Team Uganda, as a local organization which does local fundraising, there is something they call giving for charity. To the public again, there is what we call Filler Project. Filler Project is a product of local fundraising. It is a matched funding. Restitute Team Uganda as an organization did mobilize 50% of the total budget cost. And then the Uganda National NGO Forum as a partner in local fund person. Then we are also looking at lands and economic rights of the older person. Maybe once again, like you said, why the older person? When you look at the vulnerability, because for we civil society we exist because there is problem. Now, the older person, given so many studies, analysis, you realize these are people who have been left behind. And why did we know that they are left behind? Yes, we have used secondary data, but again, we realize we need to go deep into finding more. So last year, that was the year 2020. First, you know that is the International Day of the Older Person. Right as an organization, joined Zombo District to celebrate the International Day of the Older Person. So we took it upon ourselves now, why don't we make use of this first day of the older person where all the category of the older person, imagine selected all over Uganda to understand from them. So we did a baseline study to ascertain the health and health challenge, the livelihood and the health challenges the older person go through. So it was against that research finding. We realized these people have got a lot. They need to write petitions, by the way, to the government. They're supposed to actually fight for their rights. They're supposed to be trained. They're supposed to have what to do. So basically, those are some of the things we intend to do, and we said we need to actualize some of these things. So in Zoom, we shall be talking about financial health, inclusion of the older person, lands and economic right, training them on how to do business, training them on how to use money, training them on how to access money, training them on how to seek for their right in a good way. Those will be the wraps of the Friday activity of this week.
Okay, thank you very, very much actually for highlighting on that. I was actually going to move to that because now when you talk about training the older persons on how to use money, I was going to ask myself, in the entire years of these people, do you think these people do not know how to use money, or they say chew money and so on? Those are things that are there for us. Now, we're left with just 5 minutes, and maybe let me have your final words on what activities you'll be doing, and also there are different appeals to the people, the partners, and so on in terms of extending charity. Let me start from you. Yes.
Thank you so much, moderator. My final words, it goes to the public now. The issue of giving for charity or giving for the population is something that we must take and embrace seriously. Because I can tell you, there are many people who would want to give. Sometimes they don't know where to give it. Right now, when we launched it, I have an experience that many people turned up to give. Now, that is the first of its kind that people are coming out to give for the vulnerable groups, especially the elderly. So my message is, let's come out, let's support these particular groups. These are the people who are our fathers. These are the people who laid the foundation for us. How then can we give them? One elderly woman, we were able to give that person a sweater, a jacket. The woman was able to make for us a noise, called chili. That came out very brilliant. And that kind of aspect also pays back to the community. So let's come in big numbers, let's support our elderly people, and that is the message I give you. Thank you so much.
All right, I'm meant to understand that you people are also trying to organize some run for the older persons in the names of raising funds. Is that one of the activities that you have in plan, truly? So if you can confirm that, how often will this be? And then your final words on this.
Well, moderator and the viewers, we really have got a lot in plan, and I think next year, now, West Nile TV, we are together, they are our partners, members of the public, they will get to get here. Run is one of it. We have got what we call dinner, there's what we call get-together party, there's what we call giving for charity campaign. We shall be having so many things which brings people together so that we have some of this mobilization. Then again, we're also trying to use already existing platforms. For example, West Nile is in existence. Out of West Nile TV, we are able to reach out to people. We can also use the media also to make appeals. We are using paper, how should we say, support tailored letters to people. We are using support envelopes well labeled. We are using tell a friend to help a friend approach. And you can use it to reach to people. We are using the radio. So there are so many stakeholders of this. So next year, at the right time, we shall give to you people our blueprint, what we intend to do, how we are going to move, and where for knowledge and awareness purpose. But I think my passing short is that, giving is love. When you love, you give. Then, like religiously, they say, blessing goes to the hand which gives, than the other one which receives. So I'm saying, be that blessing. Be that person who is giving that person who is darkness light. And I think when you do that, even in the kingdom of God, you'll receive blessing. So my appeal is that there is now Restitute Fund. The Restitute Fund is a pool where we receive all kinds of donation, be it cash, be it in kind, be it your expertise. Many of us, we have got knowledge which we have got from school, we have got experiences, we have got values, but we don't use these values very well. So come to Restitute Fund, say, I am a lawyer, I want to help my community at no cost. So there are people who need expertise of a lawyer. There are people who want to be consoled. There are people who want to be directed. There we can help you. You have that clothes, you have that excess food. You don't know where to put them. Come to Restitute Fund. Our offices are there in Arua, in Zumbu. West Nile TV is here. Organizations like Radio Patches, they are one of our partners. Go come to them, say, I want to donate to Restitute Fund. Please, you will get this thing. And I think it will also be proper for us maybe to read out to people, because up to now we still receive donations. First, come to West Nile TV, say, I heard from you people that there's an organization called Restitute Team Uganda, or RETE. I want to donate to them. How can I help? West Nile TV will be in position of guiding you. Go to Radio Patches, the same thing. Virtually, you can reach us on phone.
Yeah, okay, you can mention the number.
Our number is 039 32 52 576. Again, 039 32 92. I mean 039 32 52 576. So members, basically that is our number, and our office in Arua. It is along Arua Papasha Road, in between Joint Medical Store and Oil Energy. Then in Zoom, you come to the district. Before reaching the district, where there is office of Danis Church Aid, we are just neighboring Danis Church Aid. You live and see our signpost there. You'll get our staffs who are at your disposal. They will help you. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you very much, dear listener. That is the end of this short talk show that we were able to bring for you here. Ahead of that activity that will be in Zombo Town Council on Friday. So you can come in big numbers, as organizations will welcome all of you, and one that is impacting maybe a lot of knowledge, skills, and also many other things, trying to help the community, will be part of such an organization. So it's an open check for you to actually come and be part of West Nile Television. We will be able to walk the journey with you together as a platform. But also, I appreciate you people, by the way, for coming in time. Many times people don't take the issue of time seriously. But we appreciate that we will all be there on a Friday to actually do a lot of things with the community on Friday. Thank you very much. Let's take a break from here. We'll be coming back to discuss many other issues with you, the viewer, from here. Thank you.
West Nile TV, lighting up the region.
Sabio family, the bigger feast this Christmas with Star Times upgrade to Kongere promotion. Nova customers on satellite decoder simply pay 20,000 shillings special bouquet monthly subscription to enjoy smart bouquet for free. Enjoy variety of entertainment including Hello Mr. Right on Makula Chika, Kazanya Kukazanyo on Makula, animations and cartoons on Boeing, series on TLC and Star Life. So make this the unforgettable holiday. More content, happier family.
West Nile TV, lighting up the region.
Having guests here, they are out of the studios, but I want to tell you that there's a lot that we should be able to do in impressing the issues of charity, because a hand that gives is a hand that will be always blessed. We always say, in my slogan, I always say that sharing is actual blessing, because once you give someone something, he's able to appreciate that. Once he says thank you, especially the vulnerable persons, you receive a lot of blessings blessings from God, because really this is someone who was unable, who was not able to actually do something for himself, and also maybe sometime at some point cannot be able to do it alone. That is what we are talking about here. If you have that helping hand, if you have the heart of giving, you realize that many times you will never run bankrupt. Okay, it's always like that. If you do it, you will be able to be blessed, and you can live longer. Remember, especially for those of us who are family heads, we have not seen that we are sleeping hungry, because God knows that you are keeping His children. You are actually dedicated to serving them very, very well, and that's why God is always giving you those hands. So if you are able to share, it's a very good, or it's a plus to your side, that you'll be able to actually do better in your living. Okay, that's a very, very important thing. Let's move away from that story, and I shall now move to other issues that happen. Remember, the Ministry of Water and Environment that is mandated to look at the issues of environment, and also look at the issues of protecting, preserving, conserving, and also fighting against the encroachers who are actually devastating the environment in this country, has issued a warning and has commenced also immediately from since yesterday the operations on the issues of utilizing the express penalty. Remember, in May this year, the Ministry of Water and Environment said that it was going to start issuing out express penalties on the streets, and also in different areas where there are environmental breaches. And this is stemming from the redundant law, that is the National Environment Act, that has not been utilized for quite a longer period of time. But the ministry has said that they are going to start enforcing the express penalties effective this week. And in this, remember, this will be actually cutting across, especially for those of you who are always maybe taking soda from the plastics, and you throw the plastics anyhow, you can easily be pinned or charged before the law. And the penalties range from the gravity of the offense that is committed. And this will start from what I talked earlier about, the issues of bush burning, okay, where people set a lot of wildfires and so on. There are issues of arson, there are issues of deforestation, the issues of, especially those of you who are saying there is the car washers who have those washing bays at the vicinity of the river banks and rivers, streams, and so on. Those are people who will be affected, but also including those who are doing mining, illegal mining, especially sand. Those who are engaging into sand mining is one issue that will be really happening. And the commencement of this express penalties enforcement will be done in collaboration with the security agencies, and also the environmental activists or environmental persons who are designated at local governments, including the environment officers, the natural resources officers, and then the people who are in traffic, police. They are also going to be on the road checking vehicles that are not moving with dustbins. If your vehicle does not carry a dustbin, you will be really arrested and also taken for 6 months imprisonment, or you pay a fine not less than not more than 2 million Ugandan shillings. That will be expressly paid. If you don't pay it instantly, you serve for 6 months, and additionally you pay the 2 million Ugandan shillings. And that's one big issue there. But also, once you are seen disposing plastics anyhow or littering the compound, you'll be charged for 6 months, or you pay a fine of not less than not more than 2 million Ugandan shillings, or you serve both sentences. But also, those of you who are seen disposing medical waste anyhow, you will be charged for the environmental breaches, and that will be really one sentence you will serve for not more than 2 years, but also you pay a fine of not less than 20 million Ugandan shillings. But also those are for you, especially the companies that will be found disposing or having poor drainage systems, poor waste management systems. They will be able to be fined or their license be withdrawn, and also the proprietors will be charged for not less than 5 years, but also the company will be charged for 2 billion Ugandan shillings, and that's one penalty that should be paid expressly. And these are things that are highlighted in the law. So if you are not reading the law, if you are not part of what the system calls as be a friend of the law, you will be one of the perpetrators that will be taken to court for these environmental breaches. But also the caveras, okay, the plastic waste, the disposable waste, and also many other wastes that we may talk about that are being disposed anyhow will be charged in courts of law, and that's what the ministry has actually commenced enforcing. So if you're out there, you cannot be able to keep the environment clean, please stay home. Don't come on the streets that public will be able to see that you have been able to dispose those kind of waste anyhow, and you'll be arrested. That's one thing people should be able to understand also and also take seriously if they want to actually be compliant of the law. We have seen so many laws that have not been enforced. You remember the issues of Nguli Act that was enacted and not being utilized. You know the issues of NDA Act, okay, the National Drug Authority Act, that has not been enforced, apart from some of the clauses where they do routine operations and also those other things. And yet the drug misuse is something that is actually to the best to understand how best they should be able to address the issues of climate change and also the environmental impacts that are created by the human activities arising from improper disposal of waste. That is one thing that is being talked about. But also, if you look at generally the environment and the National Environment Act, that is 2019, and that has been also amended several times, you realize that many of the people have not been able to appreciate that this law exists. But also, people are taking a lot of bribes from these companies that are dealing in mining, companies that are dealing in the lumbering, companies that are dealing in many other areas, especially those that are manufacturing alcohol, plastics, and so on, many things like Kavera and so on. These are things that are actually not supposed to come in the public face. But also, if you look at that law, it clearly explains that if you want to venture into manufacturing plastics, or maybe manufacturing drinks that are bottled in plastics, make sure that you have agents that are employed by the company to collect these plastics from the end user. The end user is this person, Dramadri, who is buying the soda and drinking it. This one who is buying the Uganda Waragi and drinking it and throwing it at any point, maybe even if it is a plastic collection center. This person who has been employed by the company comes and picks back this bottle and takes it back to the company for recycling, and that's what the law actually clearly prescribes. But if you look at the actualization of this law, it is very, very difficult to see that happen. It is very, very difficult to see people actually complying with that kind of guideline. One of the issues that has been highlighted is the issues of unnecessary expenses seen into this. But if you look at the impact that is created by this improper disposal of the waste, you will realize that many people actually fall victims. Many of our soils have become like infertile. They have lost their nutrients because these plastics cannot manufacture, actually cannot, they say, decompose, or they cannot rot for quite a longer period of time. They actually seal off the penetration of air that will be able to move, circulate through the soil, but also looking at the organisms, microorganisms that are in the soil. They cannot be able to access free air for them to actually make those holes for the soil to not all be too compacted, but also have that aeration space for most of our plants that we plant to actually move or grow deep their roots. That's one thing that is actually happening. So we should be able to understand the science behind that and be able to really impress that kind of art that is actually needed by the ministry. And it's upon the ministry now really to strengthen the enforcement system. We have seen many times you say police will go and enforce. Without the technical person, police will not know really is it true that this one qualifies to be a breach or not. And two, once the enforcement officers, especially the police, are not supported in this kind of enforcement, including the lower local government officials who are mandated to also be part of the enforcement team, we always see that it will be affecting the utilization of the different interventions that will be actually put in forth, but also understanding that the need to enforce the demands a lot in terms of logistics, in terms of other things that you may talk about. How should these people be able to follow up these kind of organizations? Are there write-ups for them to read? Are there, apart from the law, what are the parameters that they can be able to use to actually move with that kind of enforcement? Because we have seen so many people go to start enforcement when they actually don't know what they are enforcing about. Okay, they don't know what they are actually supposed to do. The guidelines are not really clear that they should, once they see maybe somebody throwing the plastic, this is how you should be able to engage the person. There are moments, cases die because people do not understand from the time of the operation. We were able to disseminate this law for people to understand. Did you sensitize people? Much as we show the environmental police commander, that is the Enoch Abaine, communicating that they did not start the operations in July because they wanted to sensitize the people. Has this been done adequately is also another issue that is actually still raising issues around the enforcement of this excess penalty. And he said that actually they were giving time for people to understand that law, and this law will be enforced in also other with the other laws that we talk about, the National Environment Act, and also the National Forestry Act, that is a National Forestry and Tree Planting Act, that is 2003, that's as amended, which is also there, and also many other laws that are in place. So I believe we are set as a country. It is that we actually took long to start enforcing such a law, because if we take longer in enforcing laws, and yet other countries have done theirs, many people, the violators, will actually be coming to our country to spoil what we should be able to do, to actually breach our laws and move away. We have seen so many companies dealing in mining doing a lot of breaches. Many things happen and people keep quiet over them because many of the activities are central monies. You remember the statements made by the Public Relations Officer, Ministry of Energy and Mineral Development, Solomon Mwita, who actually said that because the government did not have mining as a priority, it has been difficult for them to actually decentralize the whole system, because they didn't have any allocation for finances to help that ministry, but also looking at the aspect of technical personnel. They were not enough, and also the building the capacity of local governments that are going to have maybe host these farms that are coming to venture into mining is another issue that they were actually trying to work about. So that is one thing we should be able to actually do seriously if we want to actually move further. We need to work together. These agencies, these ministries and departments in this country should be able to actually work together, especially those that are doing correlated activities. For instance, if the Ministry of Water and Environment is doing enforcing on wetlands and so on, Ministry of Agriculture should be able to work with them, because they deal in forestry and so on. They have that person for forestry. So Ministry of Agriculture, Animal Industries and Fisheries should be able to come in, because there are people who are actually doing illegal fishing, using those illegal fishing gears and so on. That comes to environment also. And other ministries, Ministry of Energy and Mineral Development should be able to also work with the Ministry of Environment. So if we work together just like that, we'll be able to achieve a lot. But if other ministries are saying, no, this is under my docket, don't actually disturb my people, because I'm the one who gave them licenses, and that will be one injustice that we will be actually doing as a country for ourselves, but also we will not be able to do it better when we are supposed to actually deliver a lot in saving the natural species or the nature of this country. Because Uganda was one of the countries known to be green in the years 1985. Okay, in 1985, our green cover was estimated to be at 85%. But if you look at, due to human settlements, other activities, we have come down to 12.5% as of 2022 report by the Natural Forest Watch. Okay, the Global Forest Watch has actually documented that we are currently at 12.5% as a country. So that means from 85 to 12.5%. That means we are actually going from bad to worse. So that's one thing we should be able to really work about seriously. We have seen situations of people just dumping garbage anyhow, people throwing plastics anyhow. We have these manufacturers not even taking care of recycling, and their mechanisms of recycling are not really that which will be saying that they can be able to actually move to the grassroots and claim back what they have been able to manufacture that has gone into the environment. You see that? So that is one thing. We should start it from the manufacturers. We come to the sellers of manufacturing. We will not achieve so much in reducing plastic waste disposal. Remember, this country actually on weekly basis, actually on daily basis, generates 600 tons of plastics that is actually going into the environment in different areas and so on, that goes out. And out of this, it's only 46% that is actually recycled. So if 46% is recycled and we have not reached half of the 600 tons daily, quite unfortunate for us as a country, and it will be bad to see that we'll be losing a lot of nature. You remember the deaths of aquatics that has been reported. Remember the deaths of so many things that have been registered because of improper disposal of plastic waste that contains different chemicals that are poured into this water. And also looking at the issues of washing bays established along the banks or buffer zones of rivers and streams, where you see the oil from these motorable machines actually covering the space. for gaseous exchange for these aquatic animals. You see a lot of fish dying, a lot of reptiles, and also many other animals that moves into the water. That is one unfortunate thing. But also you have seen human beings consuming some of this water, and the lifespan is every time reducing. We are at 65 years. So this is for Ugandans, and this is one thing we should be able to see. For us to stop what is actually happening, the carbon emissions that we are seeing in UK, US, and so on, many other European countries, we should be able to really see that we move away from that, and see that these environmental impacts do not affect us so much. But we should be able to look at the different remedies that are provided, that are coming from the advices of different persons from the ministries and departments, and also agencies that are giving us technical advice. But also dissemination of these warnings strategies is very, very key. But also many different districts, the various districts should be able to actually organize dissemination campaigns or dialogues in relation to some of these laws that have been rolled out, for people to understand some of these things. But also as media houses, providing these platforms for technocrats to do a lot of things is one thing that we should be able to have in our daily or in our weekly press briefings, or the platforms that we have. We have seen many media houses providing platforms, but sometimes you see technocrats signing the invitations. One of the unfortunate things that we'll be able to register as really the citizens, if you are a technocrat employed in such a department, especially the Natural Resources Department, where you have the environment officers, production, and you have the forestry officers, and many other people who are in that department, and you fail to actually come for such free airs that air that is provided by these media houses, is quite unfortunate, and we wonder why you are occupying such a position in a local government. It's quite difficult. So, but we'll be able to provide that for the dissemination of this kind of information. It's very, very important that we give people the information they need for them to actually understand what is actually going on in the country. Because if we have laws that are not really utilized, it's very difficult. Many times people think of finances when they want to enforce laws. We should start the enforcement aspect from the issues of dissemination of information about the existing laws that we have. But also now, after dissemination of information, we'll be able to understand that people are being able to pick the information, and it's okay now for us to move on with the the issues of enforcing, in terms of putting the law and order in place. Okay, now when we begin putting the law and order in place, there should be no compromise of the issues of bribery, conflict of interest through maybe this is my brother, my friend, my colleague. We should not really arrest him, but next time don't do that. It's not really a good thing. Let's do enforcement genuinely, and make sure that the law and order takes its pace, and the enforcement be done the way it deserves is to be done. And let's take a break from here. We'll be coming back later on with the other issues, and we'll be moving forth towards the end. And make sure you be part of this show by sharing with us what you have from the different platforms. I told you that we are live on Zuku, but also we are also live on other social media platforms. We are on X, we are on Facebook, we are on YouTube. That's the Kokoliriko Live. Let's take a break from here. Thank you.
West Nile TV, lighting up the region.
Serve your family the bigger feast this Christmas with StarTimes Upgrade to Kongere promotion. Novel customers on antenna decoder simply pay 16,000 shillings Copper Bouquet monthly subscription to enjoy basic bouquet for free. Enjoy variety of entertainment including Hello Mr. Right on Makula Chika, Kazanya Kukazanyo on Makula, animations and cartoons on Boeing, series on TLC and Star Life. Even better, we have added all your favorite local channels. So make this the unforgettable holiday. More content, happier family.
West Nile TV, lighting up the region.
Alright, welcome back from that commercial break. We are still continuing with you on the Kokoliriko show. My name is Federick. Dramadri. We will be moving up to the hour of 9 a.m. Remember, at 9 SAP we'll be having the news in Lugbarati that will be brought to you by Feta Emmanuel. And remember, that is the gentleman behind the news, and also he does a lot of shows, by the way. He is also a pastor and also a very prominent religious leader. He does the Sabiti show every Sunday, and the face you always see there is that of this gentleman who anchors news in Lugbarati. Sometimes also they interchange with Mokla Lawrence, who is also a senior news anchor here at Western Television, and many others. And also after that we'll be having the Northern Request that will be coming after the news in Lugbarati, but also thereafter it will take you up to the hour of midday. That will have Pish or Shak coming with the news in Alur, that is Lemangia, and also that will take you up to some time at midday, and thereafter you will have the Wishful Time coming there, and I will be having the Shuku Shuku show, the entertainment show that we have that will come from the hour of 5 p.m. up to the hour of 7 p.m. and that will be bringing you the news in English. That's the Nile Cast, and that will be anchored by Christine Okomuringa, and thereafter many other programs will proceed up to morning time. Remember, you have the gospel music that will be very early in the morning from dawn time. So if you are a religious person, that's the time you will have those worships, praises, and also hymn songs that you'll be seeing there. And for those of you who are religious, okay, we are also part of it, but I don't know if I'm too holy or I'm not. But to be guessed, they say judgment is by God. That is one thing. And let's move swift to this international story. Remember, the former Lord's Resistance Army General, that is the commander, that is Thomas Kokoliriko, who has been charged before the International Crime Division, that is in Gulu, for 78 counts. That is crimes against humanities and also the war crimes that he committed between the years of 1995 and 2015, and these are things that have been documented before him. And also these are committed when from Uganda up to the Garamba Forest in Democratic Republic of Congo, the eastern part of DRC, that have been the issues there. Remember, the Lord's Resistance Army has been one of the rebel groupings in northern Uganda that actually started from Kitgum district. Remember, that is where the engine is. And this rebel group has been led by one and only, that is Joseph Kony, who is still on the run and is being looked for. Remember, there was an earlier report that the International Criminal Court in Hague actually charged him even when he's not around. They charged him and they are actually looking for him to be arrested. There were sanctions made on some governments who were said to have been hiding this hardcore criminal that has been on the look. And this is Joseph Kony, who has been on the run, and he's believed to be in Central African Republic, and also that is where they are searching for him. And remember, the government of Uganda, under the leadership of different governments, remember the Yoweri Museveni Kaguta have been actually looking for this same man. And that's how they were able to flush him out. Remember, the NRM government currently has been called also the NRA, which was another rebel group that has been in the bush for quite a longer period of time, where they were able to capture power with the help of the Tanzanian government, where they were able to host out the Idi Amin government and to be able to come back shortly on power. And this was how they were able to come. And all these rebel groupings that we have, that were here in Uganda, talk about the West Nile Bank Front, talk about many others that you all know, that have been all fighting to claim power in Uganda, have actually been having all those challenges in accessing power, but also a number of people were able to actually go through those hurdles that we actually have. You remember, the issues of war is not an easy thing, where a lot of issues of sexual assault and the issues of sexual, not assault, but also sexual violence generally, where people rape women, people even those women, armed officers, rape men, boys, and so on. You saw some issues of killings, those aggravated, some people say aggravated killings, where you pick a child and put it in a machine and you hit such a child, and that becomes a very aggravated one. It's very, very bad to see all those kind of things. Many men were killed, and so many women and children were abducted, and so on. These were things that happened. Many people's businesses were assets were looted, and so on. Many people were killed. Buses were burned along Pakwach Karuma Highway, especially the people from West Nile and other parts of northern Uganda, who were close to 500 victims of Kony War in West Nile, actually pestered the government to pay them or to compensate them for the war losses they encountered. And remember, that is one thing that is actually happened. And there are other war victims that are actually battling. There are so many people who are still battling trauma. There are so many people who are still sewing those bullet wounds. Others' hands were chopped off. Others are still having those challenges of vision, when others are still battling other illnesses. There are some women who cannot now actually produce because of the rupturing of their wombs because of the sexual violence that they went through, and those are some of the challenges that we're still seeing. And this is one of the issues. Remember, there were around 93 counts that were levied around him, but the court was able to actually charge this commander, that is Thomas, of 78 counts. And we're here to see what the issues will be coming, and also whether he'll be able to accept those kind of kind of counts that have been mentioned on him, and he's yet to respond to those kind of things, and that's what will be actually seen in the subsequent hours. If you keep to Western television, we'll be able to actually get detailed analysis and detailed reports about these proceedings in Gulu that is actually going on, but also looking at many other issues that are happening around this LRI war. Remember, there are so many people who up to now do not know where the relatives are, and will be done for them is one thing that is actually happening, which is there. And if you look at many other victims of this war, but even the Collins family, the wife he left behind because of the attitude of the rebellious attitudes of people, you realize that they go on to rape so many women. Others conceive, others do not conceive, others get different diseases and so on. There's one woman who was actually left in Gulu, and she has 4 children with Joseph Kony, as she claimed, and these children are stranded. They don't know what to actually get to feed their family. Livelihood has become difficult. The issues of feeding, the issues of education, the issues of health, accessing justice is also very, very difficult, since their father is nowhere to be seen, and they are actually asking for amnesty and also asking for support from government in relation to this. But also many other people are actually having that kind of challenges. So this is the state of unrest, or the situation that can easily be created in a nation due to unrest. So that's why we are saying many times, if there are challenges in a country, people should be able to impress the issues of dialogue other than violence. Okay, defiance will not take you elsewhere. The issues of dialogue is very, very important for people to understand. Remember the war on the Muslim property. By the way, one big story there that has come around this is the Supreme Qadi, that is Ramadan Mubazi, has already been ousted out by the Muslim clerics, and they have been able to put a different person who took off of office yesterday, and Mubazi has been investigated as of now. If you look at that story, many people will be able to share their thoughts. Many people will be able to actually open up to give different opinions which could actually come into conclusion. But if you look at the aspect of rebel or the rebellious actions, and also issues of people saying, no, I want A, B, C, D done before something is done to me, that it becomes really a situation that is escalating conflict, creating a lot of misunderstanding, creating a lot of panic among societies, and it retards development, because people will be really thinking about how should I rescue my life, and when others are saying that maybe how should I capture the power, and becomes difficult, very tricky for governments to actually respond to such situations, since their offices become temporarily or they are sacked. So it's very, very important for such circumstances be stopped from the initial stages before they actually become serious matters on ground. Yes, this judgment will be delivered upon hearing, and another date is yet to be actually scheduled for this proceeding to continue, and that was at the time for mention, and when this will be also brought back is what will be able to share vision as you continue. So that's the beauty of this television station. We'll be able to actually bring you those kind of stories that are actually happening, the issues that are happening elsewhere, issues of current affairs. I will be actually bringing them here. Many other people may not know what is actually happening, but that is the beauty of always being with West Nile Television, where we bring you those stories, or bring you those detailed analysis of issues that are happening, and also we bridge the gaps of what is actually happening, so that you understand what is happening elsewhere across the region, across the continent, and also what is happening elsewhere. This is where we bring the discussions on the Kokoliriko show for the Tuesday edition of this show to a close. But we appreciate you for being part of this show from the start of the show, that is from the hour of 7 a.m. up to this time. And up next, we'll be actually having the news in Lugbarati that will be brought to you by Fete Manuel. Behind the camera, I had actually Dijon Pro, who has been there really technical managing the camera, but also Allo is the producer for this show. We can't leave him out. But also, most importantly, I appreciate the management for always being close to actually improving services. And also, for those of you who are out there, we say thank you very, very much. On Friday, let's head to Zombo District, especially the Paida Town Council, to actually witness the handover and also giving hope to the elderly persons in that district, that is Zombo District, and also embrace the issues, the art of charity, that we should be able to do it together with the communities. We say bye-bye for now. Let's meet again tomorrow, the same time, the same program. Thank you.